Can you feel the fire burning deep inside your soul? Your mind is so confused, you don't know where to go. The fire's getting hotter, you don't know what to do. Now listen, all you people, I got some good news for you. I'm gonna keep on shining. 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 I don't know what I've been told. Depression is...
You are the founder of the group. Could you introduce yourself a little bit and tell us how the group got started?
All right. First of all, I'd like to say we're so excited about being here today. Caleb, my son, lead guitar player, and our drummer couldn't make it because they're mission critical at work. So we're going to represent the band. And I'm Rockin Robin. I'm the lead vocalist and harmonica player of the band. And what happened was we were just a regular bar band playing classic rock and top 40 and stuff like that. And one day, me, my wife, and Caleb were sitting on the couch, and a band came on TV called Exit, and they were an all Native American blues rock band, original, and they just took our breath away. They played like a blues. They didn't play the basic, drum and everything else. They got up there and rocked, and they're all Native Americans. Well, I looked over at Caleb, and I said, Caleb, we're Native Americans. We have to start a band of all Native Americans because these guys were just so fantastic. And so that's when the process started. We started looking for Native American musicians, and it was very, very tough because in California, we don't have as many Native Americans as per se Arizona, New Mexico, Montana. So it was very, very hard to find all Native Americans. Well, we came across the great Jeff Cooperhawk, who's Cherokee, and he plays bass. So we got him in the band, and Pat Mata, who's Chumash, we got him in the band, and we formed Blue Mountain Tribe as an all Native American blues rock band.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Yeah, people would come to some of our shows and they thought they would hear the traditional, yeah, hey, drum and the flute. And we'd walk up there and say, are you people ready to rock? And we'd break into doom, do, 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 do. It was just like in all that Native Americans can play, like Stevie Ray Vaughan and Eric Clapton. And so it's been a great journey. And we've gotten so many awards. We've won major film festivals, Las Vegas Film Festival. There's at least 15. We've been on 16 newspapers, radio stations. Our song is being played all over the country. And Pray for a Planet is going viral. Pray for a Planet. And that's up for
the land is sacred. These words are at the core of your being. The land is our mother. The rivers are blood.
And it's going to be
Take
so
our land
fantastic.
away and we die.
We opened up our show today with Prayer for the Planet because it is such
Mary
a fabulous song, even without the video, just the song, because we're just on the radio today. But it's so beautiful, Robin, and Cooper. Not only do you play bass for the band, but you have some interesting skills, and I want to acknowledge that you actually have a degree in chemistry and are a chemistry professor. And could you just speak to that a little bit? Because I think it's just it's so amazing. You're fabulous in the band, but you have this other side of you that's wonderful to talk about too.
Well, yeah, when I was young, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And I guess with my upbringing, I thought when I graduated high school, I thought, oh, I guess I'm supposed to go to college or something like that. At the time I was working at a machine shop, but I went into school and I ended up switching majors a couple of times, and I ended up being a chemistry major. And when I graduated from college, I started teaching at a local high school, and then I moved on to a college. And it's kind of like I didn't really know what I wanted to do, so I sort of ended up doing it, and it was just some interest. But I guess I saw some connections between the traditional medicine man, and then loving nature so much and the creation, and then it's like, well, chemistry, that's part of the creation. So I just thought it was kind of interesting and cool. And if you met me on the street, you probably wouldn't know I was a professor. But anyways, at the college, I've had the opportunity to be one of the advisors to the Native American Club as well. So you might say I'm a chemistry professor to play the bills, but I do a lot of other things. So
Well,
I do like chemistry, and when I was in grad school, I did some research on, believe it or not, of all things, nuclear waste. When I was going to grad school, I wanted to be an environmental chemist. Well, there's not a lot of quote unquote environmental chemistry programs. So I found a program that was trying to clean up the nuclear waste, because unfortunately in the United States, what we do with our nuclear waste is we just store it. And I thought, no, we shouldn't store it. We should be recycling it and doing things useful with it, not just letting it sit there for 50 years and then the tanks start to leak and then they get into the groundwater. I thought, no, let's not do that. Let's recycle it. So I found a program, it found me, where I was able to do research on how to clean up and get rid of some of the nuclear waste. And like I said, because I've been accused of being a tree hugger. I like the environment. I like nature. I like to be out in the woods or the mountains. So anyway, I just saw a lot of connections there. So that's kind of how I became a chemist in a way. You might say it's sort of, maybe the creator just guided me to where I needed to be. So I guess that's how it happened.
Yeah, that's great. Robin, I love that you're wearing the Native American Music Awards shirt.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that album, All Our Relations, that was the winner for that year, right?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it was. But first of all, hey, Deb, I want to know who that good-looking blues man is standing behind you. That's one good-looking blues man right there.
This is Rick Hunt, co-host of Moccasin Tracks.
I heard a lot about you, Rick.
We sometimes call him Rockin' Ricky, because I was laughing, you're Rockin' Robin and this is Rockin' Ricky. So we're like, we're really rocking here in the Air Studio today.
It's an honor to have you both here today.
Peace be with you, my brother.
All right.
Yeah. Rick's been enjoying your music, and Rick, do you want to talk about what songs that I know you've been enjoying all the songs, and one of his comments was, wow, yeah, I like this music. Do you want to ask the band any questions?
Yeah. First of all, welcome to the show. Can I ask, what are some of your blues influences as far as musicians? Do you have particular musicians that you honor?
Yeah, good. Yeah, Rick, good question. My inspiration was a harmonica player called John Mayo and Paul Butterfield. A lot of people never heard of them, but I was inspired by them. I was brought up in the 60s with Jimi Hendrix and Janis Joplin and Steppenwolf. And when I heard these blues musicians, everybody thought I was out of my mind because everybody's rocking on Jimi Hendrix and Janis Joplin. And I was liking the blues from a very young age. And it was interesting being brought up in the 60s and loving the blues. It was an oxymoron. They thought I was kind of strange for loving the blues.
Wow. Yeah, I saw John Mayall in concert, and I'll tell you what, he was awesome.
Yeah, he was, what inspired me with the harmonica was I was walking down in a really bad area in LA, and it was all gangbangers, drug addicts, prostitutes. and it was an alleyway, and I had to get through this alleyway, and you could look down and people were actually bouncing off the walls, but I had to get through this alleyway. And as I walked through the alley, I heard the sound of a harmonica. And as I walked deeper in the alley, it got louder and louder. And I looked down, and there was a man sitting on the ground, missing an eye, playing the harmonica.
Wow.
And it was the most beautiful harmonica I ever heard in my life. Till this day, there's not a better harmonica player than this man that was dying in the alley playing the harmonica. So I looked at him and I thought, if this guy could play that good, I could play harmonica and at least make some money at it. So with that being said, I got out of the alley, and guess what kind of store is at the end of the alley? A music store. I brought my first harmonica at the music store, got on the bus, and drove everybody crazy. I was so horrible that they literally kicked me off the bus. And that's what inspired me about harmonica.
Oh, that's beautiful. Cooper Hawk, when did you pick up the guitar?
Oh, gee, I was a little bitty kid, and I remember my dad playing the guitar. He just strummed on an old Del Rey acoustic guitar that he got from Sears Roebuck and Company when I was probably 5 years old. And the funniest thing, when I was 5 years old for Christmas, I got this guitar. It was made out of like sheet metal, but it was a guitar and you could tune it. And my mom had this old guitar book, and it had some chords on the back. So I just started teaching myself chords. And my dad had this old Panasonic cassette recorder, and he allowed me to use it. So me and my friend, naturally, we got some coffee cans and some cardboard boxes for drums and this old guitar. And so at the time I only knew one chord. So we started making up songs with one chord. And then I learned another chord. So then we started making up songs with two chords. And then when we got to three chords, we were able to start doing like the Johnny Cash and the Elvis and all that kind of stuff, the 3-chord stuff. And so I was really young, and I actually, to be honest, I'm more of a rhythm guitar player. But as I grew up and started being asked to play in bands, everybody always needed a bass player. So I just kind of ended up playing the bass just because, well, because I'm sort of a utility musician. I can play a lot of instruments, but I joke around and say, well, I can't really play any of them very well, but I just play a lot of them. So usually they end up asking me to play the bass. And so I've played rhythm guitar for the band in the past. I've played bass. I usually just end up playing bass and doing some backup vocals. And once in a while, Robin wants to take a break, so he'll ask me to sing a song about once every 20 or 30 songs or so. But anyways, so I grew up around music. My parents had a lot of records. They had all kinds of music, you name it. Classic rock, they had Creedence Clearwater, the Eagles, blues, B.B. King, country, jazz, classical. I mean, we had a lot of music in our house. We had almost every kind you could think of. And probably the only kind of music my dad didn't like was like the really hard, at the time they used to call it acid rock. I guess now they call it heavy metal. But that's the only stuff he didn't like. But of course I liked it. But I remember I was 4th grade. I got a Led Zeppelin 8-track, and was digging on that. And, but I was really young. I just grew up and I kind of taught myself. I did take a few piano lessons as a kid, so I actually can read music. But most of the stuff we do is just by ear. But so I grew up around a lot of music, and I had access to a few instruments. I've played drums, I played piano, I played guitar, I played bass. In high school, I played trombone. I play a little harmonica, although I don't dare play it around the band because I don't want to make Robin jealous or anything. I'm kidding. He's way better than I am. But I just, nah, he's better than I am, for sure. But anyways, so that's the only time I get a chance to play harmonica. I'll go to karaoke once in a while and play the harmonica there. But, which people freak out. They think, oh, this is karaoke and you're playing a harmonica. What's your problem, dude? And they're like, but people seem to think it's funny or like it. But I grew up around a lot of music, and I've just always loved music. And anytime I could get my hands on something, I try to teach myself how to play. In fact, in the back room, I've got a fiddle. I'm trying to teach myself how to play that. So
yeah,
I just like music.
yeah.
I mean, if I could make, I mean, if I wasn't teaching, I would be playing music full time. So, and I've even given guitar lessons, believe it or not. So.
Right. Robin, you know, you must have taught your son music. How did that come about?
Well, that's very interesting. Caleb at a young age was diagnosed with autism, and at age 8 years old, and they told me that he would never amount to anything. He would have to be medicated, which us being Native Americans, said that's not going to happen. And it was heartbreaking that your son is diagnosed with autism, and then them saying that he'd never amount to anything. Well, one day when he was 8 years old, my wife got him a guitar, and he just started messing around with it. And there was 2 strings on the guitar, and he started playing "Smoke on the Water," the whole song on 2 strings.
Wow.
And my wife said, "Caleb, how in the heck did you learn to play guitar?" He goes, "Paris," that's his stepmom, Paris. "I didn't, I just heard that on the radio." She said, "You just heard that song on the radio and you played it on that old guitar with 2 strings?" And he said, "Yeah." And she said, "Do this." And she mimicked, go boom, 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 boom. And he did the same thing on guitar. Boom, 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 boom. And she told me what happened, and we were totally blown away. So we got him a guitar chart with all the different keys. There's 100 different keys on this chart, hand keys. And we said to Caleb, if you learn 10 of these keys on this chart, we'll give you $100. $100. 2 weeks later, he called us in. He goes, "Sit down, you guys." And we said, "What?" And he goes, "Name a key." And we looked at the chart behind him. We went through every single key, and he played them verbatim.
Wow.
Every single key. So everything the psychologist said about him, music, there's something about people with certain type of disabilities that they grasp music. It's in a different part of their brain. So today he's considered one of the greatest lead guitar players. People come from all over the state to hear him play. And he's high functioning. You can't tell that he was diagnosed with autism because of his relationship with the creator and the ability to play guitar.
Wow. Oh, what a beautiful story.
Wow.
Isn't that a beautiful story?
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that with our listeners. I understand that autism is being diagnosed more and more, you know, and I don't understand why that is, but there are a lot of babies that now they're diagnosing them with the autism. So
Much more today than back 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's just another way of being in the world, actually.
Exactly.
It's a gift, right? And my understanding is that it's not, it's the opposite of what is usually felt about things like this. It's really a gift. And certainly his music gifts us all. It's really beautiful. Thank you again for sharing that story. Yeah, so Rick, can we cue up a song in the background, and maybe you can talk to us a little bit about some of the songs that were on All Our Relations, the CD that won many awards, including the Best Blues Album, I think was it 2014?
Yes.
The Native American Music Awards. And now you're releasing some singles. You've been doing music videos. People can go to YouTube and see some of the videos. We've been posting them on our social media. And And you can also follow Blue Mountain Tribe on the Facebook, on their page. You can follow them there, and Instagram, and go to their website, bluemountaintribe.com. So, Cooper Hawk, did I cover everything as far as how to listen to more music and find out more about you guys on all the social media networks?
Yes, and yeah, I think several of our videos are on YouTube as well, but the links should be in either Facebook or on the webpage to get to the videos. But if you just type in Blue Mountain Tribe on YouTube, you can watch a lot of the videos. Some of them are just a still picture and you get to hear the song, but there are we have a couple of videos in there. You mentioned it. A few songs have been released as singles over the last couple of years. One is Children on the Res. That song was about just bringing awareness to what's going on some of our reservations, where there's a very high rate of suicide amongst our young people. We wanted to bring awareness to that issue because we care about our young people. And that song actually won an award. And then at the Native American Music Awards. And then a little bit later, we released a single, Pray for Our Planet, which Robin, of course, wrote that because one of his elders had asked him to write a song about all the stuff going on in the world. And he wrote it. And that song has just really gone viral. You can see that video that was filmed by our good friend, Bobby Altman. He's our videographer. He's a really nice guy. We love him. But anyways, he did a great job on the video. And that video and that song has gone viral. It's won several awards at several film festivals for best music video or best blues video. And our new album coming out in November has a couple more songs on it that are very I guess songs to bring awareness to different issues. One of them is called Sacred Flowers. It's about the disappearance of many of our Indigenous women and children, and all the human trafficking that's going on in the world. We're very concerned about that. In fact, the song begins with a drum song, and all the proceeds from that song, if and when that song is released as a single, any profits that we get off of that particular song is going to be donated to some sort of a charity that deals with that issue.
Wonderful. Yeah.
So, but anyways, and then we have some other songs. We have a song called Serenity. It's kind of a prayer song. You know, we're Native Americans, so of course we're very spiritual people. We have some fun blues songs. What's that song you like so much, Robin? The do 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 do. What's that song?
It's called. Rick's gonna love this. Ricky gonna love this. It's called Poor Man Blues.
Yeah, that's a fun
and
one.
It's based off all these rock stars are rich and driving limos and airplanes and first class. And Poor Man Blues is about the blues man that is broke, eating beans and rice, and has cockroaches in his house. That's going to come out on our next album. It's called Poor Man Blues on our next album that's coming out in November.
I love it.
Yeah.
I can relate to it.
Yeah, and then we have a couple of rockers on the tune. We have one called "Oh Great Warrior," and that's about a warrior who's kind of lost hope, and it's kind of like the creators encourage him, "Hey, get up, keep going, because a lot of people need encouragement these days." So it's just the idea of, you can do it. I believe in you. I'm here with you. You're not alone. Just get up and keep trying. Keep on rocking. Keep on fighting. Keep on doing what you got to do. There's another one we kind of dedicated to our executive producer, Michael Altman. It's called Mountain Down Blues. It's kind of a rocker. It's kind of a blues rocker, and so the album coming out is pretty cool because it's got some socially conscious songs on it. It's got some fun songs. It's got some ballads. It's got some rockers.
Yeah.
It's a really nice, well-rounded album. We're really proud of it. We took a lot of, I think that album kind of came from our gut, from our heart. We want to put it out there, and we hope that at least there's one or two songs that almost anybody from any camp can enjoy, because there's a couple of different styles of music. Like I said, the ballads, the rockers, the blues, the blues shuffle. So you got a good variety of music there. So we're pretty proud of that. And also, Robin got Pat, our drummer, to sing a couple. He got me to sing a couple, and Caleb singing in there on the chant and some background vocals. So we're all kind of passing the vocal, but I mean, he's our main vocal dude, but we're kind of, you know, everybody gets a chance to sing a little bit. So it's kind of a well-rounded album. We're really proud of it. We're really excited to see it come out in November. And we're hoping after that album comes out, we'll be able to go on tour sometime in the near future.
Wow.
Well, Robin, would you want to talk a little bit about your process of writing a song and how you first get started? Are you inspired with lyrics? How does it all start?
That's a bitching question. I can dig it. Can you dig it? I can dig it. You can dig it. We can dig it. You remember that song?
I do.
Okay. I love that song. When I was asked by Chief Arvo Looking Horse, who's the most highly respected chief out of all 500 nations, and he asked us to write a song about all this pest, disease, COVID disease, all the violence going on. We've gotten to be such a violent people. And so I took that and I walked out and I meditated, and the words, usually it takes a songwriter weeks and weeks and weeks, or even months to write a song. I wrote Pray for Our Planet, the entire song, in 1 hour, sitting outside, feeling the presence of the creator, the earth, and everything else, and getting the lyrics to me. They just came about praying for our planet. And so that was very inspirational, Pray for Our Planet, that it didn't seem like I was doing the writing. So I write about things like the suicide rate on our reservations. I write about happiness, joy, keep on shining. Whatever life, no matter how life gets you down, you've got to keep on shining. You can't let. So everything's inspirational that I write. Everything's positive and inspirational, and it comes from the heart and the creator, and it's just a righteous thing.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah. Oh, well, we're really enjoying hearing about your music and about the work that's coming up and will be released. And Rick, you have any more questions for these gentlemen?
Well, I'd like to say, first of all, I'm extremely impressed with your music. It's really great. I love it. Do you, when you write songs, this is probably a dumb question, but what the heck? Do you keep journals, or do you write on little snippets of paper, or?
Yeah, no, that's not a dumb question. In fact, that's a great question. We get a piece of paper, Ricky.
Yeah.
And you just, like, here's what you do. You start with the title of the song, like Pray for Our Planet, Shit on the Res. You start with the title, you get a piece of paper, and then you start writing based on the title, what you're going to write the song about. And you'll make a lot of mistakes, a lot of crossing out and redoing, throwing it in the trash. Your trash basket gets about this big, so you don't force it. Yeah, like Pray for Our Planet in one day. That was incredible. That was inspirational. So you'll go back and then, or you'll be driving your car. Oh yeah, I remember that. So sometimes it takes a process to get the whole song, but you always base it on the title and what the title of your song, on what you want to sing about, if that makes any sense to you.
Yeah, it does. I was just curious. Everybody's creative process sometimes is so different.
Yeah. You know, the worst thing is we'll be out somewhere, like driving on the road, and a song idea will come and we won't have any. And then 5 minutes later, it's gone because I didn't write it down. We'll get one of these electronic devices and record into it, like do, like do a little tune.
That's what we've done.
We'll do that. One day in the studio, Pat and Caleb and I were just like playing guitar riffs, and then I'll hear something Caleb plays. Like, hey, play that again. And then me and Pat will jump in with him, or I'll play something on the bass, and then Caleb will start playing along with me, and Pat will start. So there's a couple of songs where we've written them where we were just kind of goofing around in the studio, and hey, play that again, you know, and we just kind of like come up with a melody or a tune or whatever. And then maybe one word or one line, we'll get one line to the song. And then later one of us will sit down and write out some verses or something like that. So that's how a couple of our songs have happened. And like Robin said, sometimes we'll just take a piece of paper. Like sometimes I'll take a legal pad and I'll just sit there and write a poem or something like that. And it ends up being song lyrics. Or like he said, I'll write just one word down and just write that word down again and then start thinking of things to go with it. And it just, there's a variety of ways. Some songs take weeks and months because you're thinking and thinking and thinking. And other songs, like I said, there's 2 songs we wrote that they just came out in the studio. I mean, we wrote 2 songs in one day, probably in about a 10 or 15 minute period, just because we were just tootling around on the instruments. So it's a variety of, and like he said, sometimes I don't like that idea. You know, you got a nice wastebasket full of paper. So like, oh, well, I got some fire starters so I can start my fireplace up next winter.
You know what, you guys, Deb and Rick, this is good practice for us doing this, because we're musicians. We can get out in front of thousands of people and just rock our hearts out. But doing stuff like this is very, very nerve-wracking. And we've been told by our management that be prepared. What you guys are doing today is going to get you more relaxed and more ready for major interviews. So yeah, this is a good experience for us to talk to, you know, an audience and people instead of playing music. We have to learn to
Hey, Robin, this is major. They're syndicated. This is
you know what I'm talking about, playing music in front of people. You're playing your instrument.
Oh yeah. You know,
you have no instruments to protect you. So it's just you and the people.
Well, we'll have to have you back again. Definitely.
Yeah, when your new album comes out. You know, we don't have too much more time, but I wanted to ask each of you, is there something that you'd like our audience to know about you that we haven't already talked about? It's so beautiful to hear how you work and the collaborations that happen, and also to, you know, hear the music and see the music videos. But what would you want the audience to know about you as a all-native blues rock band?
Okay, I'll do a couple minutes of it. Cooper Hawk ended.
Okay.
Blue Mountain Tribe, it's not about the money. We are not in this for the money. We are in this to get a message across to not just our native family, but to other nationalities too, about peace, love, and hope. We're living in some precarious times right now, and it doesn't look like it's getting any better. So we just want to reach out to everybody and tell them how much we love them, and never give up, keep on shining. And like I said, Blue Mountain Tribe, we've been told numerous times, and Cooper Hawk's going to kill me for this one, we're going to the top. Okay, we literally, major people have told me, Blue Mountain Tribe, you're going to the top, and never let it go to your head. Always stay humble like you are.
Beautiful. Cooper Hawk, yeah, would you like to comment on that?
Yeah, I agree. You know, most people think this is weird, but you know, Caleb and I are really good friends. We've been friends for several years now. And one of the reasons I came into the band was just to spend time with my friend Caleb and Robin as well. Actually, Robin and I, believe it or not, we met at a sweat lodge. But anyways, Robin and Caleb and I have been friends forever. And we haven't said much about our drummer. I want to mention him, Pat Mata. I knew him when I was in like junior high. He was in high school and he was in the jazz band and he was a drummer. And I thought, oh man, he's so cool. But it's kind of cool now years later. So Pat and I have known each other for, gosh, 30, 40 years. That makes me about 35 or 40 years old. But anyways, I'm actually older than that. But anyways, the reason I came into the band was just to hang out with my friends, my brothers. But like Robin said, a lot of what we want to do is just get out there and get a message out. And just my own history. I'm from Oklahoma originally, which my grandpa used to tell me, he said, you know, when he was young, you didn't go around telling people you were Native American, because there were these people. I'm gonna get serious for a minute on you. There were these people who would get drunk on Friday night, and they would find either a black man or an Indian to go beat up just for fun, and that's what they did. And so what my teachers have taught me is to get that message out. First of all, be proud of where you came from. You know, if you're Native American, say so. And most of us are mutts, so we have different backgrounds, and so we'd be proud of that. But also not to be too upset with your, I guess, oppressors or attackers, because here's something I've learned is like, hurt people hurt people. If somebody's hurt, they're going to hurt somebody else. So the idea is to get the message out of, like Robin said, we want to bring peace and unity and understanding amongst all people groups, not just Native Americans, but we want to everybody, you know, European Americans, Hispanic Americans, African Americans, Asian Americans. It doesn't matter. People are just people, and people should be judged by their heart and their integrity and their character, not by other labels that we tend to put on them. Because most of those other labels that are on the outside, that's only 1% of who you are. What's inside of you, most people can't see. So we need to deal with people based on who they are as individuals and not try to do the stereotypes. So as Native Americans, we just want to say, be proud you're Native American, but also get out there. And it's like, you know what, we want to have some peace and unity and understanding amongst many different people groups. And that's kind of what we're about. We're just about, hey man, let's get out there. Let's have fun. Let's do stuff together. And me, I throw in my little, well, we also want to plant some trees, you know, and help the environment along too.
Absolutely.
But,
yeah.
So
yeah.
Cooper Hawk's a talker.
Yeah.
You need to talk. Hey, man, Cooper Hawk's a talker, man. He's born with that.
He's good though. He's really good. It's been such an honor to talk to you both and to hear more about Blue Mountain Tribe. And we'll look forward to your new album.
That's
Rick?
right. Yep.
You know, so thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
We'll leave an E.
And
Follow us on Facebook. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook.
all right.
Ah, okay.
Oh, we will.
Okay,
Will
thank
do.
you.
Yeah.
And we don't like to say goodbye. We like to say Dona Dago Ha'i, which just means until we see you again.
Wonderful.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Looking
Thank you
forward
so much
to
for
that.
having us.
Thank
All right.
you.
Okay.